Okay, so it's Wednesday and I'm here with the lovely Vanessa Points from Barton. And so tell us what you've been up to up here, Vanessa.
Came up on Saturday night, Sunday for the march, for the rally, which was beautiful. Lots of people. Got out of the car, saw so many people in the stadium, so many lovely people, some of whom I know from Barton, some just known online until now. We all walked up here, right in the middle of the road, across the road, through the road, did the rally, did ceremony at the gate, it was beautiful, and then went off to Blackpool. And yes, on Monday morning we chased the Prime Minister around Lincolnshire basically. We drove to the iGas site over there and did quite a lot of media stuff, and he ran away. He didn't come in the entrance he was supposed to come in because we were all there with our banners and our facts, and then watched the whole media that night lie and say they're still coming out with the same things that have been discredited, that it will bring 74,000 jobs. That report was paid for by Quadrilla from the Institute of Directors, that it will lower energy bills. We know Ed Davey, Ofgem, Quadrilla, Lord Brown, they've all said it won't. And crucially, that it's been going on for decades and nobody's noticed there have been 200 fracks in the UK. They are lying. We know that. We've got a letter from DEC and it says there has been one high volume hydraulic fracturing operation in the UK, and that was in Lancashire, the Priesthall Farm frack in 2011, and it caused earthquakes. And there are people, Conservative ministers, MPs, on the radio yesterday saying, oh, I think one person felt the Lancashire earthquake. I at the time was in a minibus with several people, one of whose house was cracked, another one whose bed was rattling against the wall. He was so frightened by it.
Yeah, I've spoken.
We are being lied to, mass scale, and all the media channels these last couple of days reporting this whole Total thing. France has banned fracking. There's a moratorium. France is 83% nuclear thereabouts. And our Prime Minister is saying, come and frack us.
Absolutely. What
is wrong with this picture?
When Bush Green, you've got Energy Celtic, who are a French company, who are no doubt backed by EDF or something like that. EDF are building a nuclear power station in Somerset. It's been a bit like the Chinese. Well, exactly.
If we let them.
Exactly, and that is it. This is the movement about not just fracking. This is about energy in general. And renewables are the way forward. We know that. We've got solar panels there. They work. Wind turbines. They do work. We need to get the technology down. The Chinese have got it already. But so what do you think we've actually achieved here at Barton Moss since we've been here?
Apparently, according to calculations, you've set them back about a month by slowing down the trucks. Sadly, not enough people came in time to stop it earlier on, but the more we can delay these trucks, the more we can delay them with their operations and stop things coming in. We just have to make the investors think thrice and have an epiphany and invest in renewables instead, because solar panels do work, wind turbines do work, but they're not enough.
No, exactly.
And they keep telling us, this is another one of the big lies, they keep telling us it's a bridging fuel. It is not a bridging fuel. Any fool can see, as long as you keep sucking the fossil fuels out of the ground by increasingly dangerous methods, we're not going to develop the proper renewables that will give us energy security.
Absolutely.
1 million jobs, lasting, safe jobs. Frack field workers in the States are getting silicosis in their lungs from the silica sand.
Absolutely.
There are explosions, they're being killed. I mean, you know about the list of the harm. There's more than 2,500 families in Pennsylvania, and these are just the ones who dared speak out because they'd signed non-disclosure agreements, because the companies, they fracked them, they've polluted their water, they've brought them in big buffaloes of fresh water. If they go public on the damage and help it, they take the water away, and they're rural people, so there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, we know about that.
Yes, it's just, but if we don't stop, if we keep using the fossil fuels, we are not going to develop the renewables to a level that we need them.
Absolutely.
And the energy efficiency, the insulation in our buildings.
Absolutely. But see, the trouble in this country with buildings is a lot of them, if they're built before 1919, they won't have a cavity wall. So that is a problem we do have to overcome, unfortunately.
Yes.
It's fact. I'm of the opinion that if we put tidal energy in, energy harnesses, we've seen what the sea's done in the last few weeks.
We've got the second largest tidal drop on the planet.
Right, so we get that. We fill the sea full of wind turbines.
Oh, look.
Daffodils. It's January, we've got daffodils.
First time
it's a bit early, but
I know.
Yeah, I know they're forced on, but
we haven't, and that is the point. We haven't had winter yet. What's going on?
Absolutely, and that's another thing. But as back to the wind turbines, if you fill the sea for the wind turbines, solar power, the trawlers can't get in. The seabed will regenerate, fish will come back. So it's a win-win. You get not only do you get renewable energy. You get fish, you get crabs, you get all your seafood comes back.
Yeah.
And that then it reinvigorates the fishing industry in this country. Grimsby, Hull, Brighton, Shore, and places like that. Bingo! All of a sudden, money starts coming back in. It's not rocket science, is it? I mean, do you think
that money's going to be coming into the country and helping our economy, rather than getting farmed out to these foreign companies that are coming in to frack.
Asset stripping. It's asset stripping. That's all it is. They're asset stripping. And France has got a moratorium on it at the moment, but that will go eventually, and they will frack there. Yeah, it will happen.
Well, except that they are over 80% nuclear, so they
got
that. Which is even worse.
Yeah, I know. Well, it is.
Potentially.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what happened at Fukushima. I mean, that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a nightmare. That is turning into
Chernobyl,
ever-extending nightmare.
I mean,
some figures we got the other day, to match North Sea oil production for 10 years, we'd have to have between 10 to 20,000 wells.
What, in this country?
It's not going to happen. This is a complete scam. Yeah. It's just not going to work. Yeah. Why they're doing it, we have to ask some very serious questions.
Yeah, we do, and I think that's what we need to start to investigate, really.
And we had our Prime Minister in an EU summit in Brussels a few months ago said no regulation must get in the way of shale gas exploitation.
I mean, that's frightening. Yeah. And when you see the sort of thing that was happening here yesterday, the way that the police were using violence to push these lorries through, you know, it was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've been to lots of protests, but I've never seen anything like that.
It's grabbing people and
throwing them to the floor, in order to get these lorries in. I mean, they're willing to bend any legislation. They're willing to break any law.
Including the law of this land, because this has got a 16-ton weight limit on this road, and those lorries coming in over 16 tons, every single one of them. So they're actually facilitating crime here.
You can see the road starting.
You see the road starting to crack. It's cracking up.
Well, it did in Balkan.
Well, absolutely. We've seen the people who was there.
This is one thing for local people. For people who haven't had a chance to look into this yet and to the bigger implications of it, even just your impact on your roads and your infrastructure and the truck traffic going through your village. That's bad enough. And what we had in Balkan and the footage we've seen from Pennsylvania, people driven crazy by it. By the number of trucks, 24 hours past their
I mean, you can see on a lot of our footage, you're getting 18 lorry convoys most days on this site. You know, I mean, what that's doing to the surrounding countryside.
Just on its own. And once you put the fuel, the emissions from that, and the fugitive emissions of methane from the fracking, because this is another one of the lies. It's cleaner than coal. No, it's not. Because of the methane that's leaking, and because of all the road infrastructure stuff, methane is a much worse climate gas than carbon dioxide.
Absolutely.
It's much dirtier than coal. They are lying across the board. The biggest thing, my biggest concern with this, the biggest risk we've got, they're already doing it. For instance, in Ireland, they've just said we're not going to accept any more new licences for 2 years, and everybody went, hooray! No, because they will come back in 2 years and they'll say, it's all right, we've checked it all out, we've got it sorted, we've got a robust regulatory regime. If we get regulated fracking, we are completely stuffed. This is the problem. Safe fracking is an oxymoron. It is unregulatable. You cannot legislate for what goes on underground. Even the frack master from Texas, this guy Chris Faulkner from Brighton Oil and Gas, who's advising our government, has admitted that they shouldn't have fracked near a fault in Lancashire, but there are faults everywhere.
Across his land.
And there is also a theory that is deliberate. So I mean, we had a microcosm example of this to see what's going to happen in Lancashire. So when Quadrilla fracked, caused earthquakes, they continued to frack a damaged well. They didn't notify anyone for 6 weeks, so we don't know what they've done, we don't know what they've left down there, we don't know what's leaked. It went ovoid. Well, they have a 50% failure rate. They damaged 2 of their 4 wells. And then the government said, oh yes, it's all right, yes. No, and there was never a moratorium. There wasn't a government moratorium. Quadrilla voluntarily suspended. And then they came back some months later and said, yes, it did cause earthquakes, well, earth tremors, but it's all right, we've got it covered now. We've got a seismic monitoring system, we've got lights, like traffic lights. And when we get to 0.5 on the Richter scale, we'll stop.
0.5.
And we're supposed to believe that once you've already triggered seismic activity, it will stop. There's university surveys now in the States that have come out as well about it's not only local seismic impact, that it can travel a long way, and this is causing stuff way away. So with that, that's what they've done. They've done this little microcosm. Yes, we accept it. it's a problem. It caused earthquakes, but we've sorted it. They didn't say anything about the water contamination, the air pollution, the waste of water, any of the other issues.
And the produced water, which we'll have to get rid of.
The produced water, nice little euphemism that is, the toxic radioactive effluent that can never again be water, which in the States and in Australia, and now they've come out, actually I've forgotten which one, but one state in America has now admitted they're going to do this. They're putting it in trucks and they're spraying it on the roads, and they're calling it either dust suppressant or de-icer. And we've got a picture of an Australian photographer who was filming one of these trucks going past and didn't get out of the way, rash from head to toe.
Really? That bad?
Going behind the trucks with Geiger counters, leaking trucks, and they're clicking as they go, and they're just spraying it on the roads. And that's what they'll do here, because they can't. The Environment Agency website changed after they dumped. The Environment Agency sanctioned Quadrilla to dump their frack effluent in the Manchester Shire.